Do you think birds are real?
Oh gosh, some of them might not be. That's what I've been reading. Who knows?
Yeah, some of them are drones.
That's what they say.
Hey,
I
if it
was on a
flies, it
cruise ship.
spies, baby.
Listen, I was on a cruise ship once in the middle of really nowhere in Europe, and I had have insomnia. I was out there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and a bird just fell out of the middle of the sky and plopped dead right in front of me, out
That
of
was probably a real
nowhere.
Well,
bird that was dead, though.
No, I think it was a drone that the batteries died.
You should have
yeah, it
checked the
didn't have no
chart to see
power
if there's
line to
blood in
charge
there, because
on.
if there's blood in there, it's probably not a
What?
bird.
Hello, welcome to back to the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is episode 212.
And
Um,
welcome Zeus back.
thank you. It's been a little while. Mike's been running the show, huh?
I know we've been the Friends of Zeusless podcast.
Yeah, the Friends of Mike podcast.
Or
Um,
Zeusless colon a podcast. I don't know. We haven't chosen.
um, so tonight, I just got back from a cruise. Like, what was it, about 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, it's been
What was
like
it?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to talk about it. I just want to just dig deep into like the fun of a cruise. And of course, Des, I'm sure you'll have a question or two along the way. But I wanted to introduce my new friends, Brent and Daniele. I met them on the cruise like the first 30 minutes of being on it, and that's a story in its own right. Um, but I just wanted you guys to kind of introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit of your backstories, what you're about, what you do, what you've done, all that stuff.
Go ahead.
So my name's Brent Williams, and
Hi, Brent.
currently, hi, currently live in Florida. From Maine. Currently a public insurance adjuster. I've gone on several cruises. She's been on a lot more than I have. So we're here to kind of discuss what we've done on the cruises and how much fun it can be.
Yeah. And by the way, behind me is the actual ship that we were on. It's I maybe I shouldn't say the name of it. I don't want to get a weird copyright thing, but
I don't think there's gonna be any copyright.
okay, well, it's the Carnival Paradise. It's probably as massive as that thing looks. It's probably one of the smaller ships in all the fleets, and it was
Yeah, what's the new one that they just came out with? That one with all them slides on it? I
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
well,
there's
this one's
so
got
many
slides
more.
too. Is that the Emperor or something?
don't know. It's like new.
What's the one with the
I don't
roller
know.
coaster? That wasn't
That
Maybe that
was
one.
Pacific
we went on the one with the roller coaster was the celebration.
Celebration. That's
Yeah,
a big one.
that
You
was a
know what
big
would
one.
help? Google. I could just Google it.
Yeah, like this one had a slide on it, and it's not the biggest slide you've ever been on, but it's probably bigger than any that I've seen at like King's Dominion or like a water park. It was impressively large.
I think
Um,
I don't
The
remember ship
Jubilee.
names. Oh, I've heard of that one, the Jubilee. I don't typically remember the ship names because when I'm shopping cruises, I'm rarely looking for the roller coaster amenities or whatever. I am a
Oh.
bargain shopper. So
Hmm.
it's like, well, I'll go on whatever ship. What's the best deal for where we want to go? And
well,
then
Yeah.
my
experience all
understanding
kinds
is
of
it
stuff.
doesn't. The price is the same no matter what ship you get on. It's that you get on it, right? Like if I pick a trip for $400 for the week, if it happens to be the Jubilee, that's the one I get. If it happens to be the Paradise, that's also the one I get. Is that accurate or?
Different ships have different price points. So typically the newer the ship, the more recently it's been renovated. And
Mhm.
if it has a preferred itinerary, then it's going to be more expensive. But I like to shop on like a price per person per night
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
vibe. So if I can get something for 60 to 100 bucks per person per night, that's like a super deal. And then anything less than that through like a, what do you call those? Loyalty program.
Mhm.
As the more you cruise, the better the deals get.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
I
get the
got
gold.
loyalty points now.
Better.
I'm a
Now,
VI, I'm a VIFP member. I
do
get
you
Woohoo!
a
guys go through like a travel agent or do you do all of that shopping yourself?
Yeah, I just enjoy doing it myself.
Okay.
Actually, one thing that people can do to save on the cruises though, and I have done it in the past, is become your own travel agent. You know how you can go online and for like $200 you get I think it's called an IATA designation,
Hmm.
and then you can plug that number into all of your travel, whether it's hotel or cruises, and you actually get paid back after you finish the trip. They pay you for going yourself.
Well, dang. About to do
Yeah.
that. Does that
I'm
work with
telling you,
flights?
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
flights
Dennis.
back in the day, they used to pay a lot for flights, but I believe that has changed. So it's more about the hotels and cruises and,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, all inclusive, things like that.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm telling you, Des, I think when I was telling you I was going on a cruise, you were like, meh, meh, not super excited about it. But I'm telling you, you go on one, you're going to change your attitude. It's a blast. And the cool thing is I think on most of the ships, and this is why the price isn't that huge, is a lot of the amenities are like built into it. Like you eat like a fucking pig on these boats. I was, walk, you get to a point where you walk by the soft serve and you're like, okay, I'll have an ice cream, like because you're making it yourself.
I was putting the ice cream in my coffee. So
Yeah,
you
Ooh,
get
yeah,
that
very
sounds good.
creative. Yeah, you get really creative in the buffet.
So the first
yeah,
cruise
yeah.
I went on, I definitely ate like a pig, but then after that I calmed down and tried to
Mhm.
just enjoy myself, not get too
My
overstuffed.
favorite, my favorite food, actually, the frog's legs. I had frog's legs. I had some of
Ew.
Daniele's frog's legs. That stuff was. I was not expecting that to be good at all.
Yeah.
Um, but Guy Fieri on the Carnival Cruise Lines, he has this little burger joint kind of thing. It's pretty Spartan in how it's made. It's like, want a burger, want some bacon? Here, we'll throw it on. But the burgers were really, really good.
But
Like,
here's the thing, and this is what seasoned travelers know compared to a novice traveler. Novice travelers tend to go onto the ship and follow a lot of rules. Like, I'm in this room, so I must eat in this room. This is the food here, so I must eat this food here.
yeah.
But you have way more freedom than that. So a lot of people, once they've figured it out, go to the deli that's in the back of the Lido Deck restaurant. They pick up the pretzel bun, take it over to Guy's, put the burger on there, and start making real creations. So you can get creative and you can take your food anywhere you want to on the ship.
Zeus, that's like at the hospital cafeteria. Like you've eaten there so many times and you're just like, I gotta start getting creative with these options, these four options here. You gotta just, I don't know,
I
create some
mean,
stuff.
That's right.
speaking for myself, the quality of the food was above par. I mean, it wasn't like four-star dining, but the food was pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
it was
and
good.
then the cool thing is like you can set up like a dining at a kind of sit down. You don't have to dress up, but don't come in there in
Hmm.
short or like swim trunks. But they put on these massive shows while you're sitting there eating. Like everybody, all the wait staff, everybody on the ship is like entertainers and a cook, or entertainers and a steward. Like everybody, but everybody is entertainers. And like these shows that they put on are so involved, I would say. Like they're dancing around you, they're dressed like, Cabana Boys and all these crazy things. I'm telling you, Des,
Did they
it's
have a
a
Michael Jackson night or the Michael
80s
Jackson
night.
show?
They have 80s
80s
night.
They
night.
always have
Mhm.
though. They always have a Michael Jackson show when you go places with shows.
Yeah.
we had an
Those are fun.
80s night, and I actually won what's the term from Christmas Story? The
Hmm?
award. I won a special award. You
Oh
know the
Hmm.
yeah.
term I
When he
mean.
got the lamp.
I won a major award. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just this.
It's
It's just cool.
fragile.
Yeah, it's fragile. Yeah.
Yep, very
I got
fancy.
this little ship on it's dumb, but like I was obsessed with getting one. So we had the 80s night, and Amber, our cruise director, or that it was a cruise director, right?
Yes. Yep.
She picks me out of the group to start a dance party, and I can't dance. So thankfully the song was It's Tricky, and I just started just
Tricky,
jumping
tricky,
up and down.
tricky, tricky. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my major award. But yeah, I mean, There's so much to talk about. Let's talk about how we met. How about
Yeah,
that,
let's do that.
Danielle?
Well, you never
So
let Daniele introduce herself.
I'm sorry, Daniele.
Oh, I'm Daniele. I'm Brent's wife, and we're cruising around together. We've been together for a few years now, but like you, Desiree, he wasn't a cruiser before we got together, and I thought, uh-oh. He even said, I won't do it. I'm not interested. And I said, that might be a challenge because I really enjoy cruising, so you got to
Mhm.
try. And he did agree, which was awesome, to try the Margaritaville at Sea cruise because it's only a 2 night,
Yeah.
kind of an appetizer cruise. And that was it. He was hooked. So
Yeah.
we've been cruising ever since.
It's very
Well,
relaxing
it's
and fun at the same time. So you feel like $1,000,000 when you get home, unless you get sick after. But
oh
Right.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like I wouldn't go on a cruise, but I just I don't know. I've just never been like, yeah, I should do that.
Yeah.
But I do, I mean, I travel a lot, go a lot of places. I like the ocean, but I don't know if I like to be surrounded by the ocean.
Mhm. I think
You
you
would
become
think.
so encompassed with all of the activities and what you're doing, you forget that you're on the
yeah, you're
ocean.
like in a
Oh,
small city where you
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
you're like on
dance
a floating
like
clubs,
on
you
an
apartment,
got
right?
island that you can
comedy, you
see.
got, you know,
Everything.
food anytime you want. The place
You'll have these.
huge. It's like if you were to
Huge
take
floating resort.
every floor of that and spread that out, I mean, it takes up probably a mile or two or three. I don't even know. But
Yeah, I
you
was there for 5 days, and I had trouble getting to places that I've already been. Like it just gets. It's a.
you
It's
get
a.
lost
Yeah.
on the ship.
It's like it's like floating on a mall.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm
Um,
all a floating mall.
Mhm.
pretty
And a
much,
hotel at the
pretty
same
much.
Floating
time.
hotel. It's just a floating city.
The only thing that I regret that I didn't do is I understand now that if I would have gotten some gold chains there, they're super cheap on the boat, like
Mhm.
like dirt cheap, and I would have liked to gotten. Oh,
Every time I've purchased them, they fall apart, so I gave up on those chains.
So
well then I
Desiree, have you
saved
been
money.
on like a small boat,
No, I've been on
like just
boats.
cruising?
No, boats are good. I like boats.
So
I
if you
like
like boats
water.
and you
I
like
like
the
the
water and
ocean.
looking around at the scenery and everything, when you're on a cruise ship, it's like 100 times better because you're just kicking back and you're looking at you got that same thing where you're looking around, and when you get out there, the water is so beautiful.
Hmm.
It's like this deep, rich, royal blue.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
pretty.
I
And
mean, I
then you
believe
get to
it.
the island, then it's like teal and I don't know, just
yeah. That
I
was one
love
thing
and I
I
love
noticed.
islands. I love lots. I've been to lots of islands. I mean, like I said, I love the ocean. I have like freaking sea legs. But I don't know. Like the ocean to me, I gotta respect it because it's big. It's like you
just don't
stand
go
next
out
to the
there when it's
ocean.
hurricane season.
I have been, huh, a
Yeah.
couple
And
times.
just stay on the
Got hit.
boat. Just
Don't
stay
jump
on the
out.
boat and you're fine.
Yeah,
I
like
just feel
that was
like your
one.
problems, not your problems, but I just always feel like problems in the world are just minute when you're standing next to something as vast as the ocean. And I just don't know how I would feel being surrounded,
So
like no
that's what
land in sight.
I wanted to touch on that. You even if you've done it 1,000 times, right, Danielle and Brent? For me, I think that this is probably something that transcends every trip that you go. There's always going to be that moment where you're just in that Zen space and you like look around you and realize that we are just fucking puny.
You're
You know
nothing.
what I
You're
mean?
just a speck in this thing.
Like, like you are out in the middle of the ocean, floating on a mall, and there's nothing anywhere to be
Yeah.
seen. Maybe once or twice we would see another boat like 15 miles away, and it looks puny, but you
And then I
really
would be thinking Titanic. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, you get this for me at least, and sometimes I do get a little introspective, but I was just like, I'm so fucking nothing in this world. Like I am just a speck. You know what I mean?
I
In
had
the
the
grand,
Mhm.
opposite. Look at me. I'm everything. I'm on a
right, yeah,
I'm on a
yeah.
boat and it's going fast and
But but it
boat.
but it really does it does center you a little bit and you're like wow, this is just amazing. And the thing that you were talking about, the water, is like, so as United States citizens at least, and I'm sure other coastal countries and all that, the water is gross and brown when you go to the ocean. It's generally not what we saw when we were out there. And when you're out on the ocean, it really, you see the blue. Like that's the blue that we're seeing from space. And it's like it's pretty cool to like take that in, that it's not all this ugly brown water that we see when we go to
Yeah,
Clearwater
not at
Beach.
all.
You know,
Well, I mean, it's not all ugly. I mean, Palm Beach is nice. The Keys are
but yeah,
nice.
but my point being is most coastal cities in the United States, you're getting
Yeah.
kind of like when you're going to that popular beach, you're getting the brown water. There's a few
Sandy.
places,
More
yeah,
stirred up. Yeah,
Key
just a different.
West, places like that,
Yeah.
but generally
Well,
it's
but
got
that's also because you went on a Caribbean cruise, and I've done cruises like to the Baltic, to the,
yeah.
well, the Mediterranean's more blue, but there are other parts
Mm.
where, you will have the
Alaska
browns and
cruise.
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty choppy water.
yeah. So
But the
everything, there's
blue,
character at every port, that's for sure.
yeah.
So what's the
Different kinds of
coolest place
beauty.
you like have cruised to?
Well, cool
Or your
in
favorite
kinds of
or
ways. So I would say Alaska was very cool because it was so unique and the nature was so abundant and huge. And we were able to see, I believe they call it barking, when the ice breaks off of the iceberg
hmm
and falls into the water.
hmm
That
Jesus.
was really awesome. And just
My
to see,
son's going on an Alaskan cruise
oh
this
my
summer. I'm kind of
gosh.
jelly.
Yeah,
But
that was
Wow.
really good. And then it was also neat going on a cruise around Japan just because of the cultural differences that were on the ship, because now you're on a ship that's in Japan. So of course it's catering to the majority of their base there, which were Japanese people. So that was neat to have a different perspective.
sorry about him.
What's that?
Sorry if you hear my cat, sorry about him. He just talks and I just
Oh,
can't do anything about it.
super. Yeah.
Go
And then
ahead.
probably
Sorry.
for something just to see a whole different world was stopping in St. Petersburg, Russia,
Mm,
just because one, it's Russia, so it's neat to go to a place you've heard so much about, and then also to see all of the architecture and the
Yeah.
food. It
yeah,
was really unique.
that's
You know,
cool.
the funny thing for me is the ports, they were okay. Like Daniele got some saucy pictures of me on the beach doing like the copper tone, like, you know,
Mm,
right? But I had most the most fun was on the boat. I didn't I We could have just sailed around and never stopped anywhere, and I'd have been great. It
So you guys
like
do you ported in Nassau?
we poured it in Bimini
Mhm.
and Nassau.
Bimini's pretty.
Yeah.
Bimini's nice. We
Oh
got
yeah.
we
Let's see if you can see it. I'm gonna take it off. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Let's see. Does it
yeah,
come? There
there it
it
is.
hmm
is. Always
Yeah,
have
we
to get the old souvenir.
So we went to Bimini, and Bimini we paid like $40 for the excursion, and we got really treated very well by our server. She was like all about us. We were like I felt like we were her only customers. And I think that it was pretty much the case. But it was nice. We didn't There was no snorkeling. They really wanted to snorkel. I wanted to glom on that too, but there was just nothing going on. There was a storm coming, but it was beautiful. I mean, I'm not complaining about the ports. I probably would say that Bimini was much prettier than Nassau.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
but there's more to do at Nassau.
and Jess, it was more what you expect. Like, if in my mind's eye, what I pictured the Bahamas looking like was more like Bimini. Nassau was more like third world country.
But uh, in their defense, we were supposed to do an excursion that was canceled, and that's where the good snorkeling actually is.
Right.
And so we just
Yeah.
went around the town and went out to eat. But if we were to do the snorkeling there, that would have been a lot of fun. There would have been turtles, there would have been pretty fish, and
And also there are a lot of adventure tours that we could have done that we didn't do, like the four-wheeling one we did on our prior cruise.
yeah, there's other
So that
stuff.
when you come back from a port day and you start talking to your fellow passengers, you hear everyone has a very unique experience. It could have been very relaxing or extremely,
Yeah.
Thrilling.
thrilling.
How long do
Yeah.
you usually stay in the port for?
Typically
Like
it's
a
several
whole day?
hours.
Like
Yeah,
eight
it
hours.
depends. Yeah.
Mm.
Usually it's like 9
Six.
a.m. to like 4 or 5. Some ships let you stay out till like 7 or something.
I did learn when I went to on the, I believe that was the Baltic Sea cruise and went to St. Petersburg, which had an overnight. And the assumption was made that if you're at an overnight at port, that you had to go back to the ship to sleep, but you don't. If you, as long as you have the proper paperwork, visas if required or whatever,
Mhm.
you can actually leave the ship on the first day and stay at that port at a hotel or Airbnb, whatever you choose, and then get back on the ship on time the next
Yeah.
day. But that's something
Yeah,
I need
unless
to
they leave
learn.
you because you didn't wake
Yes.
up in time.
Yes,
That
just
was
gotta be
probably
on
what
Sometimes
time.
it's funny
happened to
because you
me.
see people running, trying to get back to the ship before they're gonna leave because they will leave you there.
Oh yeah, tons of YouTube videos about dock runners. And you
Yeah.
see it every single cruise. There's always one. Doesn't make
That's
it.
funny. Do they ever have some just jump on? I don't know where Zeus went. Jump on like at the last second and the
They
boat's going and they jump
they
on.
do, and they'll let you jump on until
Mm,
the thing comes rising up. And if you
mm,
can't make it, you are left behind.
man. Ugh, I'd probably do something like that. They probably if they do that a lot, they've done that before though, I'm
We
sure.
just
Right.
plan to get back an hour before, and that's always worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you an hour to like
Just
get
in
stuck
case
in
something
traffic or
goes wrong.
something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So is there like a lot of lines for stuff like the food, the ice cream, the coffee, the whatever, bathrooms?
It's like maybe a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Sometimes there's an influx in the line for the deli and the pizza if it's right when
Oh,
the nightclub lets out or the comedy.
pizza.
Yeah, there might be a few extra people, but typically 23 hours out of the day, aside from that 1 hour where it's busy, you can get anything you want very quickly.
Hmm.
Till like you say till 2 or 3 in the morning?
Yeah, there's something usually always available, almost round the clock. They used to have the room service for free, but now they charge for that. That's something that's
Hmm.
changed in cruising, at least on Carnival. I don't know about other ships, but you used to be able to
Um,
get anything.
do you just mainly do Carnival or have you done like what do they have?
Clean.
Princess, Norwegian,
Hmm.
Silver Line, I don't
Yep,
know. Done all
I've
those?
done, yep,
You have
NCL.
like cleaning and
Pardon?
didn't you have cleaning included with yours, like laundering services?
Oh, that's what I'm working towards. So I'm just what 20, 25 cruise nights away from being platinum, which gets you free laundry. And that's like what I'm definitely working toward
Hmm.
on Carnival. And then with I've traveled a lot with NCL, probably done this about the same amount of cruises on the both of those. And then I did do a Holland America cruise, but that's kind of for a different age group of people that like Holland America typically. So I brought my young kids on it years ago and I just didn't know. It was my first cruise and I just didn't know. So the reason I do like Carnival the best now though is it's one of the easier cruises to work up in the loyalty program
Hmm.
and the benefits are pretty good. And then of course the price point for the
Yeah.
cruise is typically phenomenal. And you literally see the other cruise ships just going right by you at night. You wake up next to them in the port, only they
Like
paid
throw
about
stuff.
$2,000 more per person.
Mm.
So I don't mind.
What about one more question? What about and I lost it. Oh my gosh. Oh, have you ever been on like themed cruises? Like
Not a theme cruise specifically, except that we
No,
have done,
Halloween cruise
we've done a cruise on Halloween
and
and
New
then
Year's
Christmas and
cruise.
New Year's. Yeah.
but not like a Disney cruise or like a
Mm-mm.
I don't
No.
know, couples cruise or
I heard the
whatever.
Disney cruise is good.
Yeah,
I heard that they're
when I
good
had the
too.
kids, I could have taken them, but again, it was just the price point for me as a single mom at that time. Like
Hmm.
there was no way I could just take them
Yeah.
to Disney World and I don't know. It's
And again, I think that like there's kind of a stereotypical amenities to every cruise ship. So why not pay less and get generally the same amenity,
yeah,
okay,
amenities.
Amenities.
Oh,
amenities.
and we didn't take advantage of it in Zeus. You wouldn't know because you didn't have your kids on the ship, but they have uh clubs for children of every age, preteen, teenager, and my kids loved it. They're now 25 and 27 years old, and they still talk to people they met in the Carnival Kids Club like
That's
15
cool.
years ago.
And the
Yeah.
cool thing about it, Des, is like say you took your boy on the cruise,
Hmm.
your kid disappears with them and comes back around 4, and I think from 4 to 7 you gotta be with your kids. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
like from 7 to 10, they take care of them. There's no charge for it. If you go over, then they start charging you. But generally speaking, because they want you to be gambling and drinking
Yeah.
and doing all the things that make you make bad decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the kid, you rarely saw the kids, and when you did, they were just happy. Like they really, I got the impression I didn't have my kids, so I didn't get to experience what they were experiencing, but I got the impression that they really care for the kids. That they really are good with the kids and that they take care of them and that they're safe and all that stuff. So like I said, A, you're not going to be bored on a cruise. There's always something going on. You can go to the casino, you can go to the comedy clubs. We got to talk about the comedy club, by the way,
Mhm.
because that was a hoot. Um, but and the comedians are, well, one of the guys was better later, but the one guy, this guy Dylan, this guy was slapnuts funny, and might as well lead into it. So let me start with how Daniele and I and Brent met. I met Daniele first. She had sung a song. Do you remember what song you sang before?
Yep, it was At Last by Etta James.
Okay, and I think you hit some higher notes. So I was like, I got a little bold, and I wanted to do "Shallow" from Stars
I
Born.
was born, yep.
And I'm like, I walk up to Danielle. I'm like, would you mind trying this song with me? And she's very shy. And no, she was like, yeah, let's do it, right? And we got up there, and I think we did a good job.
Well,
You
I
know,
did give a caveat. I said I can try it, but just so you know, I am recovering from
laryngitis.
laryngitis.
Yeah.
So
Well, Des, it's on the Google Drive. I think we did okay considering. Like, I think we did great, but we just reached a point where the plateau had been reached, and we couldn't go any further.
the hook
Um,
came in, the gong played.
yeah, I think you have a far better voice than I do, but I think I did kind of channel Bradley Cooper for like 14 seconds there. Um, but so that's how we met, and then she met my mom, and then I guess we were like peas and carrots from pretty much there on for the rest of the cruise.
We was
I
like
think they
peas and
I think they allow
carrots.
Yeah, we got along like peas and carrots.
You did
But
it better.
I think they allowed me to play with them, and I felt like I was honored to like spend time with them. But we go to the comedy show, and my mom, I'm like gone for like fucking 5 seconds, and the comedian goes, "Does anybody out there have a powerful name?"
Oh
And
God.
Daniele's like, right here, this guy, Zeus. And
Did he
then,
tell you his middle name?
wait, hold on.
Oh.
It gets better. My mom, in like 14 seconds, like went from puberty to like 54 with my personal history. So he's like, what's the middle name? And she's like, Poseidon. I'm like, how the fuck did you right? And then she's like, and wait, here's his last name. But that was the comedy of it. He's like, Zeus, that's a powerful name. Poseidon, that's a powerful name. What's your last name? Alan.
Alan. You should change that to something like
Right, Constantinopoulos or
Triton
something.
or something.
But it was just so funny because he's saying stuff on stage that I'm saying to Daniele right next to me. I'm like, what do you have my social security number? And he's like, do you have a social as well?
He's
But
like, yeah, it's probably number one.
like yeah, oh, that's right. He said, but I like it was very cool to be like part of the show, and like every once in a while I'd bump into people on the ship, and they're like Zeus, like not celebrity, but people recognize it from the
Because
show.
literally
So,
no one else's name is Zeus on
oh,
that ship.
absolutely. I mean, I'm not taking credit for naming myself, but it was just it was a neat experience to be like recognized by people, and then you put two and two, because I was also doing karaoke, and I'd say I did okay. I got ripped off in the one contest, I think, but But so I garnered a few people that knew me based on my name more than anything. But yeah, so that's how Danielle and I met, and then her and my mom got along really well, and my mom's just a chatterbox. But yeah, the comedian was great. I'm hoping to have him on in a couple episodes. I texted him on Instagram, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on." And
Can you
this
tell me
guy's
some
like,
jokes?
would you guys say he's legitimately funny? Like,
All
Yeah,
of the
for sure.
comics, every stand-up I've ever seen on a cruise ship has been very, very good. They're not people who are just trying to get into the game. They're people who are like at the top of their game. And this is a
that
legit circuit.
yeah,
Hmm.
I was talking to him after like the last show that I saw him with.
And he's in space.
There he
I'm
goes.
like,
E.T. phone home.
I'm
And
trying
he always like
just,
freezes on the best spaces.
preaching to the
Just keep going.
choir,
Eventually the it,
Grab his neck.
yeah.
like, what's that?
That's what he looked like when they were pulling us off the
You lost
stage.
me.
Oh, he's back.
There he is. Hi, welcome back.
So I was talking to him after after one of the shows, and I'd been really wanting to meet him because I was hoping he recorded his little slamming of me. It was a very polite, like he wasn't being mean. He was just being funny. But I was like, every time I've seen you, you've got a whole new set of comedy. And he's like, dude, I've been doing this a long time. But this guy, I hope he comes on because he is very, very funny. Um, Dylan Veneta. We'll figure it out later. Did you lose me again?
Nope.
No,
No, we're
we're
good
just
now.
listening.
So what else did we do?
You and Brent had an exciting
Yeah.
adventure at the
So
casino.
so I
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
so I said Zeus.
to win some cash.
I said, you ever been to the casino and played the Zeus machine? Because there
Ah,
is a Zeus
Zeus
machine.
machine. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I've never played it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you gotta try and play that. I'm like, you'll probably win. So he's like, yeah, well, maybe I will, So there was a time where it was just him and I, and we were on our way to karaoke or music. I think it was just a music entertainment, but it was live music. And we happened to go down near where the casino was. And I said, "Hey Zeus, let's go to the casino and check that out." And he's like, "All right, let's go." So he's like, "All right, well, so where's the Zeus machine?" So I'm like, "Come on, follow me. I'll show you where it is." So we go over to the Zeus machine. I go, "It's right here." He's like, "Okay, what do I do?" I'm like, "Put $20 in."
And
He's
push the
like,
button.
"Okay." So,
No,
uh
important note, you must always
oh
put
yeah,
your
and I said, "Put your card in."
and
Said
tip for people who are listening who go on their first cruise, you have to always put your
player's
card
card,
in to the machines or at the table. Otherwise, you don't get points that can earn you free steakhouse, free
free
massage, free
drink,
drinks, free
stuff like
Hmm.
that.
cruise. So you got to
Okay.
always put
So it's
that
like the
card in.
player's card.
So
Player's
he puts
card. So
his
he puts it in
player's card in, and
But
because
you got to put
it says
you got to put
Zeus.
player's card and money. They don't put the money on the card and then you put
you
the card in.
can.
You can do either or,
Yep, either
and
one.
you can withdraw from it or add to it.
But in this case, because his name is Zeus, once he put his player's card in, the machine said, "Hello, Zeus." So that was
Right.
just kind of neat.
So then he's like, so what do I bet? And I'm like, I don't know. That's up to you. But it had it on 2 cent instead of a penny, so it was kind of double. And
Mhm.
then so he's like, well, I'll just pick $3. So he hits $3, and the
This
reels
is
start
first bet.
spinning,
First
and
bet is
first bet, and then it goes, that it's got the fist with the lightning in the hand. So he
Mm-hmm. And
does it
yep.
once, then
And it
does
goes
it
boom.
twice,
yeah.
and then does it 3 times, but it's like stuck, like halfway, like it's gonna like go past it. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, Zeus, you won. He's like, I did, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, wait a second, it's not working. And then all of a sudden the thing goes boom right into this right spot. It goes brrr, the whole thing goes off, and he hits the bonus round. So he ends up
Oh, I
with
love the bonus
11
rounds. This
free
is the
spins.
best.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he just in that bonus round, it has like an additional bonus round
Hmm.
where it
Hmm.
spins like a wheel, and that's where you can win the jackpot, or 5 grand, or 10, 11, 12 grand, wherever it was. So he did hit almost the major, and it went just to it, and then it bumped down that time. but it was going Zeus.
I won
It's
200.
like, oh my
Yeah,
God, it's saying
I
my
won.
name.
I won $200 on my first $3 bet on the machine.
It was like
The first
230.
was
So how
what?
much
Yeah,
did you
It was
walk
like
away
230.
with?
I walked away ahead. We'll say
That's
that.
good.
I spent some of my winnings trying to, glom off
Entertain
the.
yourself some more.
Yeah, yeah. But I did go back and I won like another $100. So I mean, I was never in the red. I was always ahead on it. And I spent a lot of time in the casino like watching blackjack, considering whether I wanted to try it. And I'm glad I never did because that's just a show. But yeah, I like the slots. They can be addictive. I'll tell
Craig's
you
Good
really
what.
marketing opportunity. You need to sponsor so that we can drink out of their cups.
Yeah.
We do need sponsors.
oh,
It says like
like
Dr. Pepper on them or
McDonald's.
something.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, we
that's
need
a
Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
we
something.
have like a, we have that sponsor.
There
Yeah.
you go.
See?
And McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Nice
Yep.
coffee from
Spinning
McDonald's.
around.
Um, he'll come back. Come on. Um, my husband's
Yeah,
oh,
like I said, I
Sounds like he is in outer
Zeus, you're
space.
doing it a lot.
You said something
Zeus,
about your
try to hop out
husband?
and come back in. Maybe that'll fix it because you're like freezing a lot. Best faces, I'm telling you.
He looks like one of the fishermen right now on those like I want to say To Catch a Predator, but that's not what I mean. One of those fishing shows, the Catcherman Fisher shows.
Oh, what is that show called? I
But
don't know. I
see,
don't remember.
just put a fishing boat back there instead, and he
It
looks like
looks
a
like he's on
lobster.
one.
I know, exactly.
He's rowing.
He's like-
No, I was saying my husband's really, well, he says he's not really good at blackjack, but he's really good at blackjack. He'll go and he'll just like take them for like $700 in like an hour and then just leave.
Thanks.
The next day he'll do it saying he's like, you can't do it for too long because if you do it for too long, you're gonna get cocky and then you're gonna lose all your money.
Right.
So I'm just like, yeah, are you like counting the cards? Like, what do you do? What are you
Got the
doing?
skills.
He's got the skills. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
$700 is a good number. We made a new rule for the casino because we used to play and then play on the winnings, like Zeus did, just hoping for the bigger gain. But
Yeah.
now we decided if we're up in that, five, six, $700 range, we're out of there and we're going to buy a piece of jewelry or something. So we have
Yeah.
a tangible win instead of just
Instead
throwing
of
it
putting
back
money
in.
back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And you
was,
start over, start out with $20 again or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that might have been one of the ways that we kind of connected is you guys are very pragmatic and like we're not coming out ahead with the gambling, so let's find a way to mark that moment with jewelry or something like that and not
Yep.
get caught up in the gambling, which I
Mhm.
think is a cool way. And that's kind of me. I was like, I got this $200. I can play with this the rest of the trip and not worry about it. I won't go a penny beyond it. And it was fun. I mean, casinos are frightening to me. I don't know how you guys feel about them, but it's I've got an addictive personality, and man, I was keeping my wallet away from me when I did all that.
Yeah, we have to be mindful, that's for sure, because they pump in that oxygen. There are no clocks on the walls. Everything's just right. The ding ding ding
Free
gets you
drinks.
going.
Booze.
Yeah, free drinks. It's very tempting to just hang out there, but can get you in trouble easily.
I
So
like the craps table. I don't know how to play or win. I just like to throw the dice.
yes.
Yeah, I
You can
sat
do
and
good
watched
money at the
craps
craps
table.
table, but you have to have a team of good rollers. You can't just have one
And
good
my
roller.
argument is what makes someone a good roller. I mean, like, how do you
Yeah,
practice?
how do you
They
be a
just
good
yeah,
roller?
they do. They practice. They actually can a lot of them can hit like six straight like two threes is a hard six, and they can hit them like every time. I've seen a guy, it was like
Hmm.
a Asian guy, and he must have hit it like 10 times in a row. And he's like, winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's like
Well,
but
that ain't me. I'm
The
just
whole
drunk like,
table.
woo!
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it. And then if I win money, I don't know how I even won it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's kind of beginner's luck.
Yeah. It works for
so I
me.
wanted, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're on
I
Earth
wanted
now.
to just say that, like, again, I may have mentioned it already, but like the coolest thing about the cruise is there's never a moment where you're like, there's not something that you can be doing. Like, we were spending a lot of time up in this one section of the boat. Um, I won't go into that because I'm a nurse and I don't, but
Just
uh,
conversation areas. There's so many conversation areas all over the
yeah,
boat, whether it's the library or the Lido deck.
yeah.
And
But
that's
you're
where
like
you
sitting
meet
up
people. And,
there, you're like sitting up there and nothing's going on, and suddenly there's like a dance party that breaks out in the middle of the ship, and like just people are just it's like the inner performer and everybody comes out. Like, do you remember that one guy? I want to say his name was like Caesar or something, and he was dancing around the ship, and
Mhm.
then the other ones were doing their crazy dances.
oh yeah, the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. You don't have to be a fun person to have a fun time on the cruise because you're just like feeding off the vibes of everybody else.
Mhm.
And like if
Bet the
everything's
people
bored,
watching's good.
oh,
Yeah,
people watching's
just
great.
to clarify, where the area he's talking about, there's two full size, well, kind of like big pools, and then there's like lawn type chairs all around the whole thing and then there's like a little stage where like a DJ guy is, and then there's a big pad behind that that's people could dance at and stuff. So it's a big deck, and the sun is out right there, so it's all open. You're on the top floor, all just
Mm.
hanging out like
Right there on the
500
ship.
people. Yeah, right
And
up top.
we had really forgiving weather. Like when we were at the ports, both times it was kind of overcast, but on the ocean it was not like sun burning you or beating you down. I got a little bit of sunburn on
I was
my.
gonna
Yeah,
say, you
your
sure?
nose was bleeding. It was
Oh
so
my God, it was
bad.
brutal.
You just
Sunscreen.
forgot.
Yeah,
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
SPF.
that's for
Get it
quitters.
from
Oh.
France and it works better.
But yeah, but I mean, it wasn't a brutal. The weather wasn't brutal. It was perfect as far as I'm concerned, except for the nose thing.
That's one thing that is one downside, I guess, maybe to a cruise is there's not a damn shade tree.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Can a
just
girl get a shade tree
Mhm.
There's
or an
plenty of
umbrella?
shade.
no.
There's
Maybe a
There's plenty of
cloud.
shade.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty of shade on the boat. Like so you have like a deck that kind of goes around, but like an oval.
Like an awning
So,
type
so
deal.
yeah, so everything under that is kind of covered. And then where we were sitting most of the time, there's awnings over us. Um, yeah, and just like if you thought you were bored and hadn't thought of something doing, oh look, there's a foosball table in ping pong,
Yeah,
and
the mini golf way up top, with
yeah,
like on the
there's a mini
15th
golf.
floor.
If you look on the back of the ship behind me, there, like I said, there's this huge, an impressively large, swirly kind of water slide thing, and there's like four of them there. I took a ride on it. It was and oh, it's the creepy thing is it goes out over the ocean
That's cool though.
and comes back in. Yeah, it was beast. I couldn't have had a better time.
So move your head a little bit to your left. What are those
Okay.
ball things up there on the front of the ship? Is that like water
The
towers or are
radar.
those like
That I think
Radar.
radars?
is probably radar. I would guess radar
Okay.
or something. Water tanks, maybe. Yeah, that could be.
But you can actually walk up there, and then if you walk all the way, you can walk all the way to the front of the ship and
And
look out
Titanic
from
it.
there.
Yeah, and they even had like if you were like super kid sensitive, there was this place in the back of the boat. What do they call it? Like Serenity.
Serenity.
Yeah, where there's a hot tub there, and it's just for the adults. No kids are allowed back there. It's like to get your Zen moment, and you're just kind of watching the trails behind you.
Screaming
Yeah.
children.
What's that?
She has the ASMR going.
It's ASMR.
It was great. It was great. Um, yeah, so we did karaoke, we did comedy, there was the dining
Dancing.
area. Well, oh, and what about that dude that could play the harmonica like,
Oh yeah.
oh my God. I think that he was a plant from the ship. Do you get that vibe?
I
He
don't
was
think
I
too
so.
don't
good.
think
I
so. I
don't
don't
think
think it was
so.
planned at all.
No.
No, I think that guy just brought his own
Yeah.
harmonica.
Man, this
And he might now here's the thing. I think it might have been his plan because he's done it on other ships with other
mm,
bands.
Yeah,
That might
maybe.
not have been his first time.
he
Yeah.
was good and he could sing. Yeah. There I've got some video of it on the Google Drive. This guy just popped out of nowhere and like they're doing some like R&B stuff and this guy just like and he was not just passable. You could tell that he had like had some harmonica training. I don't know what that is, but
Mhm.
but
Got
he
a
was
harmonica class.
Yeah.
probably. I
Practice
think it's
a
just
lot.
I don't see the logic behind it, but he sounded pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was going on? I mean, we were at karaoke every night, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
We
were
did.
other things that we didn't participate in, but there's always I think you guys did bingo, you and your
I love
mom.
Oh,
bingo.
Yep, they had bingo. They had all the game shows, Deal or No Deal. What was the marriage one?
I don't know.
Different show
Like the
and the shows
newlyweds or
too.
whatever.
The shows
yeah,
in the
newlyweds.
theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have theater shows with it. It's not a live band, but they sing live
Yeah.
with these
Hmm.
little mic things. And then they dance and do different routines and they do like 2.5 minutes of each song. You know what I mean? So you don't have to hear the whole thing, but you get the gist of it. And then they
Hmm.
go right into the next one, and they have like an '80s theme, and then they have other themes that they do.
I
And those
feel
are
like I
fun
could go on
shows to
that
watch.
boat again and do things that I never did the last time. I mean, the size of the ship, we probably did a lot of what was there. Like I didn't go to the Rock of Ages show, which I think that's what it was called, which is kind of their like Broadway review kind of vibe.
Well, we
Um,
didn't do it on that cruise because we had just been on the same ship 3 weeks prior to the cruise with you, and we saw the show the show on that ship, remember?
Yeah.
So we just opted out for the second time.
Yeah, but like they're passable performers. I feel like a cruise ship is where people that want to progress get their practice in. You know what I mean? And like the comedians, that's where they iron out their bits and like
Yeah, and then some of them probably go to Vegas at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I could go on that one again and even if I just did the same shit again, it would be a blast.
That's
And
what we do. I mean, that's why we keep going, and then like Daniele was saying earlier, you get better deals the more you do it. They give you cheaper prices. Sometimes they'll give free drinks, so they'll give $200 free credit to use anywhere on the ship, so you can use
Mhm.
those for free drinks or
Or
you hear
whatever.
these
So
wherever you want, spa.
Zeus, did you get like did they have like a drink package situation?
No, I didn't do that. And I save money.
Is the food included in the ship or is the food its own package as well?
The food's included. Drinks is you can get a package or you can just kind of pay as you go. And they usually like, even though you didn't get the package, they'll be like, we'll give you six tall boys for like $50, which that sounds expensive, but considering what you would pay for the drink package, it's far less.
Well,
And it's
what's the price of the drink package?
like 80
$87
bucks a day.
per 87 per person per day, and every single person over 21 in the cabin has to buy it if one person wants it.
Oh,
So
okay.
the two of us,
And
that would have been $170+. There's no
per
way.
per
and
day.
Per
and
day.
and I didn't like the idea of chasing the dragon. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got to get all my drinks in, or I'm not going to be getting my value out of it. And that's kind of inviting getting trashed. And I didn't want to get trashed. I got a little hammered one day, and but not even bad. Danielle, you were there. I was a little hammer time, but
I don't
not.
even remember.
So like
So
a vodka
Yeah.
Red Bull, if you wanted to buy that, how much would that be?
I'm not sure. I drink Grey Goose and Sprite, and those were what, $12, I believe. And you like the
Yeah.
kiss on the lips, which is kind of Carnival's
Oh,
signature. Everyone
Yeah.
loves the kiss on the lips, and I believe that's 14, 12, something like that.
It's not.
And they
It's
Okay.
include,
not.
and then they include the gratuity when they bill you.
That
So,
was that was the little hack you
So
taught
that's not
me.
bad. That's only 6.25 drinks.
mhm.
The
So
2.5 is the one at the end of the night
Daniele,
when you leave it
that's the
because you're
little
done.
hack you taught me is like I was buying these beers and then I tipped them and she's like, you know that the gratuity is already involved in that and I'm at a loss for a name. Your friend's name again?
Oh, we'll call her Jay.
Okay, yeah. She was the one that brought it up and that she just put INC.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I
Super
started
cute.
doing because it's a decent enough gratuity. For a $9 beer, if you're getting a buck 40 on that, you know what? Well done. Because
And certainly if someone gave exceptional service, I don't want to discourage you from tipping somebody and doing that. But it does seem on these ships, even tipping to get better service or to make sure you're the one they're coming to regularly, it doesn't help. So
Oh, okay.
it's,
they're going to
it just
everybody.
doesn't help. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna order your drink and wait 40 minutes, no matter what.
Yeah, but Des, to answer your question, the drinks are like out of control, high price. Like I said, a $9 tall boy, you're
Yeah.
on a cruise, all this stuff, putting it all together, it's not that bad. And then if you do like if they come by and say you want to buy a bucket of beers, it's like six tall boys, $48. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little.
but then the drink package is what, 75 to 87.
Yeah,
87.
but if I'm drinking
87.
six tall boys, I'm probably not needing to drink anymore.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be drinking the fish bowls, which are probably like $25 a drink. And so see, that's
See
But
the
you
reason
different.
keep in mind that for 2 out of those 5 days we were at the port, so you wouldn't even have access
Oh,
to your drink package. So you're paying for 2 days that you're not even there. So that'll affect the math
that's
on
a
the
that's a
yeah.
good
and the other
point.
thing about what I was going to say about the bucket thing is for me, like I wouldn't want to drink all five all kind of at the same time. I'd rather buy
Yeah.
one for $12 at noontime or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then another one at like maybe
Yeah,
Or you
4,
that's
can bring them
then
back to
another
your
one
room
at
and put them in your
7.
Or,
fridge.
or if you got like a
Yeah.
lot of people drinking the same
This is a
beers.
tip.
I probably bought
But
like three buckets the whole time I was there, and like half of them ended up in my refrigerator
Yeah.
in the
Mhm,
room.
mhm.
Yeah, there's little intricate things that I thought were cute too. Like you come back to your room and there's a badger made out of towels on your
a
bed.
badger,
But I'm just, an elephant, whatever. Just
an elephant.
oh, and
I know how to do it
here's the thing I wanted to talk
out
about
of a
that
napkin.
that is really cool about this, and we were talking about it before we got started. Is the cool thing is if you're at all observant, and I know you are, Des, you'll start to realize that there is like this fucking machine that you're not witnessing any of it, and it's all just all the cogs and wheels are in place, and it's so smoothly run. And like I said, everybody's an entertainer and everybody's like a steward or a laundry guy or the guy that cleans your room or the guy that made your omelet that morning. And you see them throughout the ship, and as you've been on it for a little while, you start to realize that, oh, I remember you from here, and then you're doing this, and like
Mhm.
it's an interesting observation to see how incredibly well run these cruise ships are. Like businesses
Well,
could learn from these cruise ships.
I mean, honestly, this cruise life sounds exactly like all-inclusive resort life.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's pretty
almost,
much what it
except for
is.
one's floating and one ain't.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
They got, yeah, that's
But
it's
way
the
cheaper.
whole,
Much less
yeah.
Way
expensive.
cheaper.
Yeah.
So for like
Yeah.
anywhere from like 300 to maybe 600 per person.
Well, it
You
depends on what you're
it,
doing. Yeah.
I mean,
Didn't they
and
say that there's
and the
like
number of
two?
days that you're going. So
And that's also, we like to get inside rooms because I like when the cabin's dark 24/7, so you can take a nap whenever you want.
Mm.
So those are definitely, we're getting the least expensive,
yeah,
best bang for your buck. But there are
I
definitely been cruises that are like $4,000 a
and you're
person,
eating for
6,000.
free for 5
Mhm.
days or whatever, seven
Yeah.
days.
I'd like to consider myself a pragmatist, and that's kind of my thing is like I don't think I ever need to spend like $1,000 a day cruise. Like I got so much out of this. I didn't pay a penny for it. My mom did it all, but I could, I know the value. It was like, $100 a day, basically, something like that. It was like ridiculously low. I can see why you hear about these legends of people that spend their entire year on the ship and they never get off a cruise. I could, and it almost, it's just this side of believable that it's affordable. Like I could almost see how you could justify living on a boat on a cruise ship all year round and it kind of evening out money wise
Mhm.
because it's you're fed. You're if you needed medical attention, I'm sure they've got great. We never had to deal with that, but I'm sure they got great medical attention. I mean, it is a ship on the sea, and they have certain rules they got to follow. You're entertained constantly, even just walking around and watching people, and the cool thing is, for me, is like you when you think cruise ship, you definitely think people are drinking a lot. And I didn't see any fights or
We
This
have just not
cruise.
on that one.
but that still shows that the odds are people don't do that on cruise.
Well, yeah, everyone's having a
That's
good
a
time,
big
having
ship, and we
fun.
were only in one little part, so we don't know what
Yeah.
happened on
Yeah.
the rest of that cruise ship because
Where'd the
they are
fight
also
break
very
out?
discreet.
Yeah, and you don't
Those
know what
cruise
happens in
ships,
rooms
they
and
are so discreet on those cruise ships.
arguments.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah,
here's a fun fact about ships. They got a jail on
oh
them,
yeah,
Yeah.
the brig.
Oh, really?
specifically for people that
Mhm.
get in fights.
Mhm.
Because
Yes,
that's like the thing that you do that you can get in trouble for.
they have the brig. They
What
have the
else?
medical center. They have a whole
What's that? The
underworld
pickle center?
medical.
Medical.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that for the
The
drunk? Is
pickle.
that the drunk tank?
Yeah,
So if you get in a fight and you got to go to the brig, how long is your sentence for? How long is your brig
at
time?
least till the end of the cruise, I would imagine.
Till really? They don't let
I
you
don't
out?
know.
That
I
would
never
suck.
got
Or is
sent
it
to
like
the
a
brig.
is it like a
One
drunk
year you're
tank
stuck on
situation
this
where it's
ship.
like somebody gotta like does somebody gotta
No.
come pay your
But
bail?
like,
Can you
but
OR
like
out?
Brent,
Oh no.
Brent, speaking to our dynamic, you and I hit it off great.
Yeah.
Like, there was never this vibe of like, and you play hockey. It's a
Yeah.
fucking violent sport. And I'm a
Right.
psych nurse. I deal with violence. And there was just not, I never had like this anxiety, like it was the most relaxed I've been in years.
Yeah, and we talked
And
about a lot of things that, we don't need to talk about here, but a lot of things that, have to do with
Life.
life and, and philosophy and all kinds of things that, those are the type of things that you talk about on ships is just letting go and just talk about whatever's on your mind and
you know
we
what?
can have some
And
really interesting conversations on these
we
cruises.
had, Brent, you and I, we spent a lot of time talking, like just crazy concepts and like spiritual shit and Reiki and all that stuff. Brent, by the way, Desiree is a Reiki master. So I'm hoping that we'll
Really?
have an episode. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have an episode later where he can just
The antithesis of the hockey player. It's just,
Huh.
he's a
That's
Libra,
weird.
so you know, you gotta have a
but
Ooh.
sides,
Ooh.
right?
Do
Yeah.
they have telescopes on deck?
No,
No, they didn't.
Why?
don't
We,
know.
I
They should
mean,
put some.
That
yeah,
is a good idea.
yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, for the majority of the time, you're not going to be able to see anything other than
yeah.
maybe if there's a ship
Really?
there,
No, you look
Oh,
up.
look, more
You mean like a
water.
real to look at the
No, I mean to
stars?
look at the stars.
Yeah, that.
That would
Oh
make for
man,
good
you don't need a
because
telescope. It's
the ship is moving, and so you're going to continue to go out of alignment. It's like you're gonna,
Oh.
and those things are so
You
small when
can't
you look
just
through. It's like this little tiny dot thing. You'd be like, well,
Oh.
the only thing that's
Oh.
really good with a telescope to look at is the moon. Everything else looks like a
Yeah.
little teeny
yeah.
dot.
It really the sky was a spectacle at night. It was really that was pretty cool
That
too.
was it, yeah. You have
Like just
full view of the
like
entire
the
sky.
lights were relatively dim on the ship. A lot of the light you were getting was like ambient starlight. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't endorse it enough, Des. I don't know how much more we've got to talk about it because I met these guys. I love these guys. I can't wait to see them again. Hopefully on
And
a
on Yeah,
what's
and on the Lido deck, they got music playing like all day long. So it's just like a big party, and you drink
Hmm.
and it's like you get nothing. You don't have to do the dishes. You don't have to cook. You're just hanging out, having fun, and talking to people. It's
the
just
only time I spent in my room was showering and sleeping and minimal sleep. Like you're just like when you wake up, you're like, all right, let's go hit the mess hall and just
Mhm.
chow down, get some food in you, maybe go have a couple beers. It was if I can say anything to like wrap it up about cruises is unless you're just a fucking anxiety ridden mess, you're not going to go on a cruise and not find like a zen moment because everybody's happy. Would you
Right.
agree? Uh, that
yes.
Yeah.
Danielle and Brent, everybody is happy. I don't think I ever saw like a sad face. Like it was always like I had a little bit of a kerfuffle with my mom, but we've established that
Mm.
me and my mom have kerfluffle moments.
Everyone has
Um,
kerfuffles. That's part of life, but you're on a cruise ship, you move on.
yeah. It was like you know what? I think I texted her and I was like, let's pretend that never happened. I'll see you in a few hours. Everything's cool. And then it was done. And that was in on the Serenity deck, which is very bizarre, but not so Serenity.
So
Um,
I think I'm zero ball of anxiety, but I have the other thing I would be afraid of is the place I would have like a panic attack for the first time ever would be on a fucking ship in the middle of the ocean because it's in the middle of the ocean and I can't do anything about it. I'm like freaking out.
I
But
think you
that's probably not gonna happen, but that's why I'm like, because I'm getting a
I
little
had
weird
that
about
same
airplanes
fear.
lately.
you know
I
what
And
had
to
that
it,
do,
same fear, and
Des?
it goes away like
Do like a
okay.
three
pretty
day
quickly
cruise.
because its ship is so big. It's
Which is
Des,
weird. I don't feel that way on boats. Dude, I love a boat. I love a yacht. I love a boat. I
Yeah,
love
that's just the
a paddle
fear because
boat.
when you actually
Love a canoe.
experience it, you won't feel that way. You'll be like, "This is
yeah.
fucking awesome."
It's really very serene. That's a really, I mean, I just used the term, but that is a really good description of how a cruise ship is. And and like these people on this ship, their whole, everything that they are doing is to make you feel as comfortable. And yes, some of that is to get you to drink and get you to gamble, but they really go overboard to make you feel
No, I
as
hope they don't go overboard to do it.
I
No.
get it.
That
I
would
get
be
the joke.
Yeah,
terrible.
see them all
Yeah,
jumping
Okay,
even
off.
so what if
We're here for
somebody,
you, not
what if
anymore.
somebody were to fall overboard? What would happen? They would go get
Well, from
them,
what I read in the news, they might look for you for a little bit, but if they can't
but
find you, the party goes
suck.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, too
They'll
bad,
throw you
so sad. You shouldn't have
that
tried to
little
sit on the railing.
thing.
That's just dumb.
That's true.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
they'll
like
throw you
Drink
that
too much.
freaking
You really
lifesaver.
shouldn't drink too much on
I,
a cruise ship. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to have responsibility for yourself. You are on a ship in the ocean, you
it's
know.
it's relatively unlikely you're gonna fall over unless you
No, it happens all the time. You're going to start seeing it now. Watch, look every week. I swear it's at least once every 2 weeks. Somebody falls off a cruise ship. It just happened on a Carnival cruise ship, and they didn't find it happened on the 80s theme cruise ship that just happened, and it was the girlfriend of the singer of Faster Pussycat. He was
oh
performing
wow.
on the cruise ship.
And she
She,
just,
phew, they have the video off the balcony. She
did
goes.
they
They
save her?
searched for her for a couple hours, couldn't find her, so they kept going. And he had to stay on that cruise ship and keep playing his band.
So what
Wow.
Yeah,
happened to her? And she disappeared?
she
Don't even know.
gone. She's
She
chilling.
gone. She shark food. Wow.
Mhm.
Um
She shark food.
no, but it
Yeah.
was
Okay, so
here's like
wow.
another cool thing is like what do you call that part where you kind of look down and there's the bar right at the center?
Atrium.
What? Like
The
the
atrium?
promenade with
Atrium.
yeah, the atrium. Like like even when you're there, like when you're walking by, going to your room, there's like a show going on like all the time. Like I can't express enough that no matter where you are on the ship, if you go like the dog from Up, you know, you're gonna find something that keeps you entertained. And they had like 80 shows. They had these guys with these like electric violins that were killer.
Mhm.
Like all the entertainment is,
all over the place.
and I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say it's top notch, but it's better than you see in your regular life. Yeah, Des. What I would say,
And
Des, if you're worried about it, I'd say take like a 2-day cruise. I wouldn't do the Margaritaville because I hear awful
I'm
things
not
about.
really that worried about it. I mean, I'd get over it. I'd like freak out and then I'd be like,
that
No,
the
but
only thing that you would need to do is just take Dramamine,
Okay, so here's
because
what
that's
I'm
because you
thinking.
do get a little.
Des needs to get
I
her
don't need it
I
anymore, but
Des needs to get her IATA number.
yeah.
She needs to become the one that gets the free cabin if she gets 5 cabins filled. You got to put your website on the bottom of your podcast here and see if you can get some of your listeners to join
there you
you for
go.
your first cruise, and they'll be there to support you, and you'll get a free cabin.
Des, I
There you
think
go.
Des, I think I know what our next show group thing
Show
is gonna.
trip.
I think we might have to get everybody on a
Yeah,
cruise.
I'd do that, but I'm not flying across the country to go
There you
camping.
go.
To go
They're
No.
where?
gonna no, they're gonna have their own Zeusical cruise.
Okay.
Use it for cruise. Okay, so
Zeusical cruise.
you know they have
Cruise
a
with
morgue?
Zeus.
They got a morgue on the boat. They don't just throw the dead bodies over.
Oh,
Nope, yeah, they have a
am I
morgue.
back? No, we did this. We had this camping trip, or no, it was we rented a house in Pennsylvania, and it was a blast. You lost me again, didn't you?
Bring it
No,
back.
we're listening, but you just veered onto your own
Um,
conversation, so we're not listening. I'm just
oh,
kidding.
um, no, but we rented this house. We had a blast. We had done one before you had come onto the show where we went to this camping trip, and we might have partaken in some muffins that had some accelerants in them, and
Some hallucinogens.
we had this picture. Do you remember the picture of the girl that we? My buddy leaves and this is way off. This is way tangential. But my buddy leaves his camera phone in the bathroom, and later on we come and we find the camera phone later, and there's this picture of this, could be a boy, could be a girl, kind of.
Just some rando took a selfie with his phone.
Yeah, and we just created stories about like they were like kidnapped and abused, and like anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Anyway, guys, I think that this has been a fun show. Do we have any other questions, Desiree?
Yeah, I mean, I can come up with some.
Come
Have
up
you
with
ever
some.
been cruising in a hurricane?
Didn't cruise in a hurricane, but in Japan, the winds were pretty brutal. And I have photographs, which if I had thought of it, I would have posted them on this show for you, of my kids standing at a 45-degree angle just because of
Oh,
how the wind was. They were doing the Michael Jackson move,
yeah.
just because the wind was so strong. So that was interesting. And then I have been on some ships where it's listing very badly. So you just kind of go do 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 down the hallways. You had a little of that on
Yeah.
this ship.
So I think that between like I would say October like 25th and um in maybe like June or May is
Hurricane
that
season.
kind of that
Safe
six
side,
month
safe time.
window is the time to
Yeah, that's
go.
cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
In the
To go in
seas are
hurricanes.
usually quieter. It's nicer weather. The water is
And I did watch
not.
on the ship's television that those white spheres that you inquired about earlier, the radar, they
Yeah.
have, I don't know if you watched it, Zeus, on the TV. The ship's TV has awesome channels where you can follow where the ship's going and see the winds and the times, all those things.
Mhm.
But they were showing how on the mainland they have an entire team that's monitoring weather from all over the world 24/7 and constantly looking at where the ship is, where it needs to be going, and if and when it might hit weather, how they divert them. So I don't
Oh, I
think we
could
have to
imagine,
worry
yeah.
too much. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll
it's like,
divert or they'll just or they'll yeah, so if you're going to the Bahamas and you get a bad storm, they'll cancel that and go to like
wherever.
Yeah, Jamaica or something.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh
do
yeah.
you guys notice like even the design of the rooms? Like it's very Spartan, but you got room. Like, you know what I mean? Like my mom and I shared a room with a bunk, and oddly
Did you have to be the top
it
bunk, or did you make your mom climb up there?
she wanted to climb up there.
That's
I
rude.
just
Sounds
I
like
just
her.
pick her up and throw her up there. But no, but like I said, very Spartan, very small. You got a little fridge, you got a little closet, but you didn't feel crowded. It's like they have the perfect,
The
Dimensions of
square
spot.
things.
footage per person that one requires to
Yeah,
feel
yeah, it's
Comfortable.
beautiful.
yeah.
And to note on the TV, even if like say you got the flu and you're stuck in your cabin, they got great movies going on. Like there's always just they've got entertainment down. You're not going to be bored. But anyway,
What
I'm
about, hold on, no.
oh,
No,
sorry.
I got more questions. Quit talking.
Sure.
I don't know if I really do, actually.
Hot tips
I could
on
think of some.
Carnival. You know how they
Yeah,
take
we
the
need
twin
tips.
beds? They take the twin beds and they put them together to make them a king bed if that's your setting request.
Hmm.
If you get when you get on the ship, you must, as soon as possible, so it can get done, ask your steward. They have like a little plastic strip they can put down the center, and then they put a second bed sheet over it so your bed doesn't split in half in the middle of the night. So that's
Well,
important.
why wouldn't they just do that anyway?
One does not know, but you must request it. You have to
Huh.
be in the know. And
So is
secondly,
there,
they have blue fuzzy blankets, but you have to request the blue fuzzy blanket or you will not get the blue fuzzy blanket.
what do you get if you don't have a blue fuzzy blanket?
Get the white
Just a,
comforter.
oh, it's kind of stiff. Yeah, real
Not the
starched.
same as the blue fuzzy blanket.
So is like, do they have like a concierge? I don't even know if that's maybe
Steward,
what I want to call it for like each floor or each set group of rooms or
your
like,
cabin. Yep, you have your own steward, and
They're
they
great.
memorize your name. It doesn't matter how
mhm.
unique your name is, how it needs to be pronounced. You tell them once, and for the rest of the cruise, hello, good morning,
Good
Daniele. Good
morning,
morning,
Dave.
Dave.
How are you
Have a good
today?
day. Yep.
And they're accurate as
Yeah.
shit. It's not
Yeah.
like they know their job. They're like, God, man, they're great. It,
Yeah.
Do they so when the place me and my husband go to, they call them butlers, but it's same deal for the whole what the building, they'll have like one or two or three or whatever. But they like communicate with you via WhatsApp for a lot of it. Well, they see you every day, but then like for your dinner reservations and stuff, they're like texting you and getting all this information, and you can like text them at 2 in the morning for something if you need it, or
Actually,
do
you
they
can. They leave you the business card and they do have a phone number. I'm not sure if it texts, but you can call to ask
Mhm.
for special requests. And they're available 24/7. If not your steward, their overnight relief or day relief
Yeah.
will answer for you. But if they can't figure it out, they'll either point you in the right
and
direction or take care of
another
it.
thing, now that we're back on it, is a really cool thing is like everything's on your card, your ship card. And I was pretty good about monitoring. Like I spent like $300 on top of whatever I was there for like a carton of cigarettes and my beers and all that.
Oh.
So $300 on top of, considering I didn't spend anything, it's not bad. It's not bad for a
Mhm.
week's worth of seriously good entertainment, a lot of fun. But
So and
there's
it's a
there
card, like
there's
a key
there's
card.
that aspect.
Yeah, they
It's
always
not like
ask
a
for your
Kind of
bracelet
card.
with
it's
the,
a connection to everything.
They
It's your
scan it and
gambling
things or
card.
something.
It's your yeah. You
I've
just
used
give them
that
the
thing.
card and they assign everything to a credit card that you provided them with earlier.
Right.
I
So they
think
don't give you like a little like bungee
Disney
thing for your
does.
wrist?
Disney
Yeah,
does.
that's what I
Yeah.
need.
I think if you
And
pay
some
more,
have
you get
like some
that.
have
I need the
like the
lanyard.
the door
Right.
fobs for like where like at the hospital maybe to get into it. They have stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
There's a variance, I think, of different technologies that they use. Um,
If you lose it, do you have to pay to get a new one?
No,
Probably
Okay.
not.
no.
And like yeah, like so the cool thing is yeah, I spent $300, but for a week's worth of a really great time, that's not an exorbitant amount of money.
We didn't spend any money. They're sending us $98 back. That's how cheap
Hey,
we were on
refund.
that
Oh,
cruise. Yeah.
First cruise jitters. I just,
No, I mean, 300 is phenomenal. We have had cruises where we spent $2,000 or, whatever. People spend tens of thousands of dollars. But my point is, you don't have to. Like, we had a very, very, very good time. On the ship, we have a refund coming. Of course, we spent money like on that island, but talking about
Mhm.
just ship expenses, we kept it very low just because the point of our cruise that time wasn't to spend money on the ship. It was to
well,
just
and
enjoy
for me,
ourselves.
this was like one of my bucket list things.
Mhm.
So I set aside money, planning on spending it and not worrying about it. Like, like whatever magic Brent gave me with the Zeus machine, I just capitalized on that. But I was going to be fine either way. I
Oh, and
knew.
it's important to bring that budgeted money because when you go on the island, that's where or the duty-free shops, you get the opportunity to shop at the duty-free
I
shops.
like a
So
duty
Yeah.
you can
free.
get makeup, perfumes, food
Oh
goods,
yeah,
all
they
kinds of stuff for good prices.
Yeah, usually it's like half of
Yeah.
what it would cost here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was in the liquor was really super. I was
Chocolate.
very tempted.
Mhm.
There was a few things where I was like, maybe I want to buy this. They also have some like serious pyramid scheme shit going on too. Like you
Mhm.
walk into like the fragrance store, you're not walking out without like spending some money because they got some serious salespeople. It's like it's just such a well-run machine. I
So
can
there's the
only
duty
imagine.
free on the ship.
Yeah, they have that,
Can you
right?
Yes,
bring the things you buy at the airport duty free onto the ship?
you cannot use them on the ship. So they do have duty free on the ship, but often your better values at the duty free at the port. And then also you'll
Okay.
find products and merchandise that are unique to that port, like a rum cake, for example, or whatever
Yeah,
it might
I
be.
actually that's what I got.
Yeah. Certain things, I believe the tobacco and the alcohol you cannot consume aboard, so they would hold it for you and give it back to
Okay.
you on the last day or the night before.
But you
And
can
then
buy the
other
tobacco on
goods,
the ship and smoke
Can
on
you
the
bring
ship.
your own tobacco? Like not
I
like
believe
Yeah,
each person can bring one carton. Each
okay.
adult 21 or older may have one carton, I believe is the rule. It is important to read the consumer passenger contract, I believe they call it. In the
Mm-hmm.
passenger contract, it explains everything that you can bring, and it's important to read it and read it slowly. For example, it does say that you can bring one 12-pack of 12-ounce canned beverage, non-alcoholic per person. So we brought what do you call those? 2 cases of Coca-Cola on the first cruise, but I put them in my checked bag. You cannot put them in your checked bag. You must
They'll
carry them on.
explode
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know why,
on
but
the
they
airplane.
confiscated them and they
Oh.
destroyed them. They did not give me my Coca-Cola.
Those
So make
Oh.
sure you read the passenger contract and just
Do
follow
they
the
have
rules.
Coca-Cola on the
No,
no,
is it
so
Pepsi?
like no,
But
it's not
again,
even like Pepsi. It's like what do they call that? Sprite is Starry.
Oh, that's
oh
what it's
yeah,
called now, is
yeah.
Starry.
Oh, is that Pepsi?
Well,
But
no, well, Starry used to be Sierra Mist. This is a weird story. So Starry used to be Sierra Mist. There's like Sprite, Sierra Mist, 7-Up.
Yeah,
Sierra Mist was trying to get an Instagram account. This is a true story. And there was a person whose Instagram name was Sierra
I
Mist,
saw
and she
her.
was like, "I'm not sorry, Sierra Mist, the company. I'm not giving you." She could have sold that. She was dumb,
Oh
but
my
she apparently
gosh.
wanted her Instagram name. So that's why they changed their whole name to Starry, which is
Huh.
a dumb name.
hmm,
Like
But
there was an Instagram name of some stripper named Starry.
yeah. Well, I mean, but here's the thing.
yeah, like
Like,
that's not somebody's Instagram name.
Right?
I think the beauty of the ship, and again, it's how they accommodate you, is like if you were to buy a bottle of liquor and think you're going to take it back to your room, they're going to stop you right there. If you buy a carton of cigarettes, they're going to be like, "Yeah, you can take that. You can smoke these on it."
If you
They're
take a
like,
conch shell out of the ocean, they're gonna tell you no.
"Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
I've
was
done
funny."
that.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
there was
like,
like 50 of them all lined
and
up.
they're not just nice conch shells. They're like majestic, like fucking
You could
Glow.
Atlantis, like blowing through the horn, beautiful
That's
conch
like actual
shell.
ocean you're hearing in that one.
And then you're getting on the boat and you're watching them kick them into the ocean. It's so
I brought
abused.
a starfish home from Mexico.
Oh, Oh,
He was dead
Nice.
when I found him.
yes.
He was the victim of Hurricane Helene.
So you didn't kill
Oh,
him.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I did not kill him or his friend that I found, but he was already dead.
yeah.
It
No,
was
that was
don't
funny.
ever do,
I forgot
that's
all
not a
about that.
suggestion that I don't put a starfish in your because they're starfish. It's
Yeah.
And
fish.
Sneaky.
and
It's a
Danielle, I
fish.
think when we were coming on the ship, do you remember how we were like looking under the like metal detector and like there's just even like more conch shells and
Yes.
like Desiree, I can't express enough how beautiful these were when you think of a conch shell and like the scream blowing through
Yeah, I
the
got
hole
some.
of Zeus or Poseidon or whatever my name is. Like that's what you're picturing. These things, they're like massive, like fucking 2 foot by 1 foot, like gorgeous conchs, and they're just kicking them over the dock. It
They
was
did.
Oh
so
gosh.
Yeah.
abusive.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then they
That's
can.
where they belong.
Yeah, I mean, they'll
I
find
mean,
some
I
show.
know, but it's just
They get
like
a
Well,
little bit
how
bigger.
did you know there wasn't a conch in there?
We don't
no,
know.
that's all fine. It's just the cavalier way in which they just got rid of them. And,
Yeah.
but people were I mean, they were like piles. Like when we were coming back on the ship, there was like a legitimate collection of beautiful conchs.
Now, how
Yeah.
come you can't take them? I
I
mean,
think
if you
That's
found
it.
it's
It's
them
disease,
legitimately.
yeah,
bacteria.
because it's gonna make because when you bring that stuff inside, man, within 24 hours it starts reeking big
Yeah.
time.
Well,
So,
yeah,
can
I
you
know
imagine how
a lot
bad
of
it would
stuff.
make those rooms smell?
And I'm
I guess
thinking it's
so.
also like along the lines of like why you can't bring oranges into another
Well,
country,
if
like
it's
there's
empty, I mean, if
contamination.
it didn't have a conch in it,
These
like
probably
in
had conchs in them.
oh,
They were legit.
hmm.
We're losing everybody.
Yeah.
It's the sign. It's time to go to bed. What a long day.
All
Yep.
right,
Got to go. Oh,
let's.
now we're unstable.
Huh, that's weird.
Oh,
Unstable.
That's what it just told
I've
me.
known you.
Internet's
I knew you for a
unstable,
week. I know you're unstable.
right?
Last question.
Fucking
How many cruises do you go
disappeared.
on a year?
I'm
At least
that's
two.
because I'm forward. What?
She asked how many cruises we go on per year. At
Oh,
least
usually two.
two, but I've been trying to ask you if we can work 3 weeks, cruise 1 week, work 3 weeks, cruise 1 week.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I haven't won them over yet, but I'll get there.
You guys
Hmm.
need to make your millions so you can cruise
That's
all
right.
year long, like the legends talk about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get
So
all
no,
the
this is not a cruise question, but y'all do the insurance.
what is going on?
I think it's because we're not in the same distance
Oh, I
away from the
see.
camera.
Yeah, it's trying to
Oh,
blur
no,
one of
it's just
y'all.
blurring you.
There you go.
Yes.
So you guys do insurance in
We are
Florida.
public insurance adjusters. So
Okay.
we represent the homeowners when they have an insurance claim to
Mhm.
assure that they get the money that they're supposed to get, that they deserve to be fully
Yeah.
indemnified. Yep. So our job's to
Yeah.
bring people checks.
Checks. So do
Yeah.
you go money? So do you go other places when there's a big storm that occurred? Like, did y'all go to North Carolina or any of that?
We
They
have
were
in the
just telling me
past.
they were.
Yeah, we went to Texas for Hurricane Beryl and we went up to Maine for a little bit. We did get licensed in California, but we have found that for us, I've lived in Florida since about 1998. This is my backyard and we know the policies here inside and out, so it's best we like to just focus on the state of Florida.
And there's plenty of work
And there's
here.
plenty of work.
Yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say y'all can come to Kansas because we be having those naders.
I
Um,
know.
and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about, I mean, we're due for a couple big ones because Kansas hasn't had a good one in a while, so we're due.
If someone
So it's
really
coming.
needed us and wanted us, we would be there. We really
Mhm.
would. That's what we would do. So yeah, if anyone needs us, give a call. We'll make it happen.
Hey,
I'm gonna base this on my limited experiences with these people, but these people are legit kind people that really do want to like help people out. I hope I never have to use you,
Appreciate it.
but if I
yeah,
did
me
have
either.
to, you guys are gonna be even if I couldn't use you, I would fall upon your advice with who I might, you know, they're great people.
Right.
I'm so I'm so happy to have met you guys, and I'm so glad you let me play in your little group. And I hope to spend many, many, many times in your company over the next part of my life.
The next one will be Desiree's inaugural cruise.
It might be the
What was it?
President
The
Podcast Cruise.
IHA
Yeah. Oh,
IAH
what is it called? IATA. I believe that's what it is.
IATA.
Yep.
That's the internet. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
James
Well,
Zeus,
we
it was
got
a
to look
pleasure to
into
meet you.
this.
You gave us,
Yeah, appreciated
it was a
this.
lot of fun, add a
Tons of
lot of
fun.
excitement to our trip. So
you guys made me very happy on this cruise, and I really like Des knows my history like you guys do, and I really needed like that just positive, like you guys put out this positive energy, and I probably tried to put out some negative, and you were just like not even having it, and I just fell into your people collector group. Yeah,
People collectors.
Danielle is a people collector. And I totally get why. All right, guys. I'm so glad that I got to see you guys again
Yeah, it
tonight.
was
It
great.
was so much fun. I want to have you on for a Reiki episode. And Daniele's got like stories aplenty about like, can I talk about the industry that you started in Colorado? Is
go
that
for it. Yeah.
so? Daniele was like the first cannabis kind of like
Cannabis
spa
infused day
boutique
spa.
in it, when all this started, like they wanted to do a reality show with her, so
Oh,
we got like episodes upon episodes with these two
huh.
gangsters.
How come you didn't do it?
Oh, I did
She
do it.
did.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was called Primal Wellness. It was in 2014, so I think it was just a little too soon. And I really wanted to educate people about the power of cannabis and healing and all of that. So that part worked out. I did have a lot of influence, I believe, in sharing about it, but unfortunately, the business itself just, too soon.
Yeah,
But
if
now
you
Margaritaville does it. Every single Jimmy Buffett spa at Margaritaville Spas uses my concept. So yay them. I
yeah,
got it.
if you type in her name, I'll text it to you later. She pops up all over the World Wide Web.
hmm.
She's legit.
Well,
And
I think legalizing marijuana was a great idea. You should look at Colorado now and look at it 15 years ago because it wasn't the same. The roads
Right.
were shitty.
Yeah.
no, apparently they're capitalizing on it quite well. It's the rest of the world that's kind of fucking falling behind.
Oh, we can have a
Um,
whole show about that, believe me.
what's that?
I said, oh, we could have a whole show on that topic, that's for
And
sure.
let's
Yeah.
do. Um, all right, guys. I love you to death. I can't wait till we can do this again, especially with the rest of the gang, because Dez is a
Yeah, I
piss.
don't know where they're at.
He asks a lot of questions, but you guys are gonna love Mike. Jack is a bit to take in. No, Jack and Tom are the other two guys on the show, but I can't wait to have you guys on again. I really want to do a Reiki episode with you, Brent. I
Yeah,
think
we
it's
can do
going to be
that.
fascinating.
Mhm.
And then I also want to have the Brent's Crazy Concepts episode too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Wait, give me a preview. What's a crazy concept?
Well, no. Brent and I just had a lot of conversations that got a little metaphysical, and like I didn't always agree with you, but I didn't like poo-poo whatever you were saying. I
Yeah,
got
but give me a concept.
give us a concept, Brent.
Um,
Traveling to other planets.
okay, yeah, so yeah, I mean, you usually ask me the question and I gave you the answer. So if you want to start with a question, like um
So, do you think that there's other universes,
uh
like a mirrored universe
prob-
to ours?
probably, yeah, because I think we can only see so far and they think that
Hmm.
that's the end, but really, I mean, we could be just something
Oh,
small. Just like
100.
Zeus said, we're something small inside something huge. That hugeness could be something small inside something that's way beyond huge.
Yeah, I
and
know.
then,
Like we can't even go to Neptune.
yeah,
How are we
exactly.
supposed to know it's beyond?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think there is inhabitable planets. We just don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And that, some people think that they haven't come here, and some people say that, there's other life that has been here. So that's just something
Nothing's happening.
Just ignore him. Just ignore his earthlings.
he loved. Um,
That
so
would be a fun show. You guys
so
would have
yeah,
some
I
good
mean, there's
talks.
stuff that we could talk about,
Hmm.
that's it's fun to talk about, and sometimes just talking about it opens up other people's eyes and your own, because you're all kind of um coming up with different ideas of what could be, what might be, and so sometimes you might disagree in the beginning, but then you may end up using that information to tell somebody else the same thing you heard before.
Yeah.
It's
It's
I
all
think it's
speculation. It's
it's
just
all
fun to
part of,
speculate.
yeah, it's fun, it's interesting, and I like to talk about things that aren't going to cause a fight. I'd rather talk about things that is constructive criticism, and basically just trying to rack our brains on certain things that whatever it is. And there's definitely spirituality, emotions, how do people actually grow, how do they get over problems, you know
Mm-hmm.
psychosomatic illnesses versus real ones. And there's,
Yeah.
is it really psychosomatic, or is it something that was caused by something that happened in childhood, that just
Yeah.
causes, knee cramps all the time, whatever it is, I
Or like
mean,
now they say like the DNA you can pass trauma on through DNA. I don't know if I really believe all that.
yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know. But
Mhm.
I mean, if you experience it, yeah, you can have trauma from that. But I don't know if you can pass that in your DNA.
I mean, I
Not really
know
sure
that
about that.
DNA has to do with, like, it does have some uh kind of memory, because it has to pass down the next thing, basically.
The
uh
blueprint.
the blueprint, yeah, for that previous person, matched with the other component, man and
Yeah.
woman. So there could be, and that maybe that's why certain people have, family issues, because they're always dealing with something that happened in their past.
Mhm.
So they're like, why is this person like, have like anxiety and all this? And it's like, we never hurt them, we never did anything to them, but my
Maybe
grandfather
grandma
or
had
my
it.
grandmother had some major things happen to her or him, and then that gets passed down. So there might be
Yeah.
some truth to it. I mean,
Hmm. You think the Earth is flat?
no,
Good,
I
we
think
can be
I
friends.
think it's full of mountains and rivers and streams and everything else we've seen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where Zeus
Around.
went.
No, I
Not
know
the
what you,
You think birds are
topography.
no,
real?
I know what she meant, round, but I mean
I just thought that was
flat, but it's
funny.
not just
It's got
round, it's all
mountains.
kinds of, it's like this.
Yeah, so it can't be flat if there's peaks and valleys. Duh. Uh,
No, but I know
you
what
think
you
birds
meant.
are real?
Or is it round?
What's that?
Do you think birds are real?
Oh gosh, some of them might not be. That's what I've been reading. Who knows?
Yeah, some of them are drones.
That's what they say.
Hey,
I
if it
was on a
flies, it
cruise ship.
spies, baby.
Listen, I was on a cruise ship once in the middle of really nowhere in Europe, and I have insomnia. I was out there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and a bird just fell out of the middle of the sky and plopped dead right in front of me, out
That
of
was probably a real
nowhere.
Probably.
bird that was dead, though.
No, I think it was a drone that the batteries died.
You should have
Yeah, it
checked the
didn't have no
part to see
power
if there's
line to
blood in
charge
there, because
on.
if there's blood in there,
It
it's probably not.
splat. It would have splatted.
Why is a bird flying out there? It can't land on nothing.
Yeah, like
You
where
have to
was
be
he
I
gonna
think
flying
he
be?
ran out
like
of steam. It just, boom.
or battery or something.
Yeah, or
Batteries.
batteries. I don't know.
Maybe he tried to make that cruise ship to charge and then he couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
I don't know
think
where Zeus went.
anything's
He got
possible.
kicked off the internet.
Yeah.
Because you've never seen a baby pigeon. That's my argument. You've never seen a baby pigeon because they
Oh.
just come off the market or the
You know
belt
who would have seen
like
a baby
as
pigeon
adults.
would be Mike Tyson. So you need to send him a DM or something and ask him to send you a picture of his baby pigeons.
He has pigeons.
He loves pigeons. That's how he became a fighter, was fighting over a pigeon when he was a little boy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's a fun story to
Well,
Google.
hmm.
Yep.
Well, I don't know where Zeus went, so I guess we're Gonna
We're
wrap it
peacing
up.
out.
Signing off.
We're peacing
Yeah.
out. We're signing off.